One Friday Fights 95 takes place this Friday at 2:30 South African time, live on the One Championship YouTube page. The main card sees Yodlekpet taking on Jaosuayai, as well as Kiamran Nabati taking on the ever exciting Ferrari. We're going to be breaking this fight card down next in. Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Fighting with Friends. It's your boy, brother Gaia, back today to do another preview for you, breaking down one Friday Fights 95. Very exciting fight card. I cannot wait for it. So let me just jump straight into it. If you haven't liked, share, and subscribe, please do so. Help us grow up the channel. The more you like, the more you comment, the more you subscribe, the better it does for the platform, and the more we get to grow our brand. So thank you for that. But let's go straight into it straight away. The main card, the main event on this fight card, we see Yodlekpet and Jaosuayai. These are Friday fights royalty. These guys are probably, if they were champions for one Friday fights, these two guys will be up there because they've got such a fantastic record. And the amount of fights they've been doing in one Friday fights. I'm quite surprised that these two guys aren't actually contacted by the one championship just yet, because of the amount of body of work that they've put in the one championship so far. It's kind of been a little bit unfair, but I mean I'll do a video for that at another time. For now, I'm going to break down this amazing fight. Looking forward to it. I cannot wait for it. It's going to be quite exciting, um, because, like I said, both these guys are very much household names in one Friday fights. And let's start with Yodlekpet, right? This, if you haven't seen this dude fight, please do. He's one of the hard hitting guys. Quite short. The flyweight division, or Muay Thai in general, flyweight guys are generally short. But he's one of the shorter guys in the flyweight division. He's coming in at 30 years old. He's recorded one championship. He's 6 wins, 3 losses, zero no contests. He's got 2 wins by knockout, 2 wins by TKO. The 67% finishing rate. In his last fight, he beat Yang Luang by third round KO. And like I said, just a hard hitter. Doesn't kick that much, but when he does kick you really hard. When he does use offensive kicks, it's usually chop in the leg. It doesn't really kick the body that much, because of the height discrepancies. But what it does have is a lot of muscle density. He's really strong, very powerful, and he's got one of the hardest hitting punches in flyweight division. Obviously, Rotang is still there, but Yodlekpet does definitely hit like a fucking truck. Is my language. He hits extremely hard, and most of his fights, you'll notice, he kind of finishes them all with either knocking people out or TKOing them. Like I said, 60% finishing rate is really wonderful. So that makes him to be quite a dangerous opponent for anybody. So he deserves a good slot in this Friday fight squad. I'm a bit questionable about the position, making these two guys the main event, considering that Kiamran Nabati is fighting against Ferrari, and that fight is technically one number one contenders fight for the championship in bantamweight. So I actually would have made those guys the main event rather than the main event of the undercard. But anyway, here we are. Jaosuayai, 23 years old, nice and young. He's recorded one championship. He's 5 wins, 2 losses, zero no contests. He's got 3 wins by KO, 60% finishing rate, and he beat Suryanlek, who just fought last week against Tanzin by unanimous decision, as well as Yang Luang by KO. So they've got very similar opponents. A little bit of history of these guys in terms of Yodlekpet. He's fought against fighters like Kong Suk, Kamawut, Tajir Khalilov, Muang Thai, Dennis Puric, Silvio Vitez. These are really like fantastic names if you have watched the one championship. As for Jaosuayai, same kind of body of work as well. Like I said, between Suryanlek and Yang Luang in his last 2 fights. Fought Kong Toani, who lost that one. Fought Pet Sukhumvit twice, by the way, beating him twice. And then, like I said, losing to Kong Suk as well. But come on, like fantastic names on both these guys' records. That's why I said they should have been contacted fighters already. But in this one, how I think this fight's going to play out, I think it's going to be quite interesting to see who's going to land the game plan first. I think Jaosuayai is probably the more versatile and the more fluid kind of striker. He moves around a lot better. He's got more fancier footwork. I mean, he can strike from both stances. There's some switch kicks, spin kicks. Strikes really well. And like I said, he's got a very fantastic footwork, so it's very difficult to hit. Whereas Yodlekpet, I think his game plan is going to have to obviously close the distance, get in as close as possible, but cut off the ring. They are fighting in Lumpini Stadium. He's gonna have to close that, cut off the angles, and almost corner Jaosuayai so he doesn't move around too much, making him a stationary target and getting him fighting off the back foot. That's how you kind of beat him. but it's a lot easier said than done because Jaosuayai, like I said, he's 7 years younger, so he's gonna have more movement, more vibrancy about him. So if he can stay away from the power punches of Yodlekpet, which is often you'll see Yodlekpet will come in and you'll often see him do like a John Lineker thing where he set you up for like you're about to strike, and you see once he sees you having a defensive position, he comes in with heavy hooks up into the body and into the head again. So Josh has got to be very careful about that. I wanna give the dub to Jaosuayai. But I've seen Yodlekpet fight through adversity before, and I've seen him come back. And the only way he loses fights is if fighters outclass him. No one's putting him away. No one's knocking him out. So they kind of outclass him or they outstrike him, and that's how Kung Suk beat him. That's how I think Jaosuayai is going to beat him. He's going to be the one that's going to just land the more combinations, the fancier footwork, and try and not get hit. But in the world of Muay Thai, if you get knocked down once, you kind of it's downhill from there. So I think if Jaosuayai doesn't get knocked down, I think he wins this fight. But I think if he gets knocked down, I don't think he's coming back at all. That's how I see the fight plays out. So give me your thoughts, please, ladies and gentlemen. How you seeing this fight playing out? I'm gonna tip it towards Jaosuayai, but it's very narrowly, because that's gonna require a lot of focus and a lot of game planning for him to win the fight. Whereas Yodlekpet is more about like staying defensively sound and just landing some bombs, and then it's gonna weigh on him. It's gonna weigh on Jaosuayai. So it's very narrow. It's a very narrow margin for both these guys to kind of win. But I'm gonna go with Jaosuayai because I do think he's the more skillful fighter. All right, ladies and gentlemen, give me your thoughts on that one. Let me know in the comments who do you think is going to win that main event between Yodlekpet taking on Jaosuayai in the flyweight Muay Thai. And also, I hope these guys make the weight. I'm sure they're going to make the weight. I think the weigh-ins is going to be today or tomorrow, Wednesday or Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see. I'm just have to double check that again to see what's happening there. And hopefully these guys can make the weight. Okay, let's keep it moving to the co-main event of this fight card. We've got Patak Nin taking on Chalam Dam in a strawweight Muay Thai bout, and this is also fantastic because these guys are obviously trying to climb that ranking. Strawweight Muay Thai is interesting. It's obviously lighter than the Rotang weight, so let's see. I think it looks to me like the One Championship is trying to fill up a roster here, or fill up a new roster here. Patak Nin, 21 years old, record in One Championship is 3 wins, 0 losses, 0 no contests, flawless performances. All 3 wins coming by unanimous decision. He beat Pet Nam Kong by unanimous decision in his last fight. Chalam Dam, 23 years old, recording one is 1-0-0, so it's 1 win by TKO. He beat Singtanam Wat by TKO in his last fight. Beautiful left hook coming from a orthodox stance. I see this fight playing out. So if Patak Nin is notorious for going unanimous decision in his 3 fights, that means to me that he's very good at game planning. He's very good at navigating the rounds. He knows how to win fights by maybe not getting touched and how to move opponents around. And if you're able to go the distance a lot of times, it means you've got a really good stamina on you. He has a very good gas tank. So this fight's going to be war of nutrition. I do think Chalam Dam has got the knockout power advantage. I do think he's a bit more skillful in the boxing. But he's going to take on someone that's not going to be a stationary target. Patak Nins can obviously move around a lot more. I don't have too much stock in this particular fight, to be honest, because they're both fairly fresh in the One Championship right now, and it's a fresh division. So it's more to see about who's going to be the staple names in that division. I'm going to tip it towards Chalam Dam because he's got the knockout power. Even though he's got 1 fight in the One Championship, he looked fantastic in that 1 fight. Whereas Patak Nin looks fantastic in all of his fights, but doesn't have that killer instinct, doesn't have that one-punch knockout where he can just switch the fight into his favor. He usually game plans opponents, usually utilizing the full arsenal of fights. It's into clinch works, utilizing the elbows, and sort of winning the fight by displaying a very good dominance on his opponents. I want to see him put people away. Not that it's a bit difficult to do that in a division that's it's a bit lower. The guys don't often have that much knockout power when they get to the lower division, so they're usually winning by outcrossing each other. This is going to be a barn burner for sure. Pacey kind of fight, so I'm looking forward to it. So let me know in the comments, please, who do you have winning for this job? I'm going to go with Chalam Dam to get the job done. I think he's going to land one of those slick boxing combinations and probably put Patak Nin out maybe in the second round. These fights usually pick up the pace after the first round. So I'm going to go second round finish for Chalam Dam in that one. Okay. let's keep it moving, ladies and gentlemen, to the next out on the card, and we see Sing Samingdam taking on Mao Tet Ang from Myanmar, and the Myanmar fighters need to get a dub because they now faced two losses in the last card. One of the biggest fighters in the Burmese Python, Aung Sa, is now not competing as much anymore. So looking for a new sort of hero coming out of the Burmese Myanmar. And there are quite a few fighters in there. Like we saw last week, Kulan U fought against Seksan and lost that fight. And Tanzin seems to be quite a hot prospect. Has taken back-to-back losses. But I'm sure they got some good fighters coming out of the camp. So more into this fight here. Samingdam, 22 years old, record in one championship is 4 wins, 3 losses, 0 no contests. He's got 1 win by KO, 1 win by TKO with a 50% finishing rate. He lost to Akif Kuluzada in his last fight. I remember watching that fight. It was he lost by KO, and I remember it was the first round finish as well. And Akif Kuluzada was just pouring it on him, giving him no looks, no opportunities to sort of come back into the fight, just completely annihilated him so quickly. So I want to see more from something than after performance like that. I'm pretty sure he's going to want to correct things and get back to winning ways. Okay, he's taking on the Mao Tet Ang or Mo Tek Ang, and he's 26 years old. Record in one championship is 2 wins, 0 losses, 0 no contests, 1 win by TKO, 50% finish rate. And he beat Kazuki Yamagashi by split decision in his last fight. Who do I have winning this one? I'm gonna go with the red gloves in this one. I'm gonna go Samingdam just because I think he's gonna desperately need to get the fight back, get back to winning ways. Not necessarily. Pardon me. Pardon me. He needs to obviously climb that ranking again because he's got a very good record in the one championship. I mean, he's fought some good names. So, pardon me, Puang Luang again. So he's obviously gonna have to get himself back to that position where chasing down the $100,000 contract. I want to see Mo Tet Ang win this fight just because I want to get Burmese guys back up there and back into the winning column. But I do personally feel like it's going to be a bit of a tough order against him, against Samingdam. Samingdam is very good, very slick, got good boxing, got good elbows, loves to fight in the clinch. A little bit of a slow starter, but I think both these guys are a bit of a slow starter. So it comes down to see whose game plan is going to be executed first. Samingdam probably is going to be the one that's going to get the job done via 3 rounds unanimous decision. But again, let me know in the comments how you see this fight's going to be played out. I think Samingdam's going to get the job done. He's going to get that 3 rounds by unanimous decision, but he's going to have to be very careful because one thing that's for sure about the Burmese fighters, particularly in Muay Thai, is that they hit extremely hard and they kick really, and they're also very conditioned. So, yeah, it's going to be a very good fight. I'm going to keep it moving to the not the next card because I'm not too familiar with these two guys, particularly with Dunk. I think this is his debut, so I don't like going on debut fights. I'm going to talk about this fight here just a little bit between Padakshuk Duksan taking on Daniela Valeskin. And I am intrigued about this matchup. We've got 2 young guns. We've got Padakshuk, which is 20 years old. His record in one championship is 2 wins, 0 losses, 0 no contest, 1 win by TKO. A 50% finishing rate. And he also beat Huriyoki by TKO in his last round. Fantastic left hook going out to the southpaw stance. No, orthodox stance, excuse me. No, southpaw stance, yeah. Daniel Valishkin, 22 years old, record in one championship is 0 losses, 0 wins, 1 loss, and 0 no contest. He lost to one Charapun by first round KO in his last fight. I remember watching that fight. Daniel Valishkin is not too bad. I mean, he's very creative, very vibrant, loves to push the pace a little bit forward, but I think he came up against someone that was a bit more experienced. Wacharapun is a lot more experienced, so I wasn't surprised that he took a loss in that fight. This is a battle of 2 young guns. Padakshuk obviously loves to push the pace. He's got power in his hands for a young kid. I think he's slightly taller than Valishkin, so this is going to be an intriguing matchup. It's in catchweight. No one's really going to be taking on a division, but they have a very good performance. One of these 2 guys can catapult themselves to be in a good name for one championship, to be calling them on more Friday fights frequently. So I think that's the kind of weight that's going to be placed on this fight here. Would I see winning? I want to go with Daniele Valeskin because I think he's the kind of fighter that doesn't give you a chance. He's got a very overwhelming kind of pressure, forward pressure kind of fighter with boxing, but it's caught. His defensive work is not the best. So, I'm going to go with Padakshuk. I think he's going to get the job done. I think he's going to be composed enough and use his length and probably even put Daniele out in the second round as well. So yeah, let's see how it goes. Give me your thoughts, please, ladies and gentlemen. I think this fight's gonna take place. I'm gonna have to go with the tie in this one because yeah, just because the defensive work that I've watched from Daniela Valeshkin in his last fight made me question his ability, not necessarily his ability, but um like his growth. You know, because like I said, 22 years old. This is just going to be your second fight in one championship now. So let's see if he's worked on that defensive striking defense and he's able to keep his hands up and dodge the strikes and not get stuck into a gunfight because he'll give himself a better chance. All right, I'm gonna go to the next fight, and the next fight that I'm gonna be talking about very very loosely, but only because of the information that you see on screen here at the bottom. I'm gonna highlight it for you on screen. We see Fa Jarat from Seoul, Japan, taking on Dechapan, taking that's the name of the gym, by the way, taking on Zhao Rupun. And interesting enough about this fight, Zhao Rupun, this is his debut in the One Championship, taking on Fa Jarat. And it's a catchweight, 117 pounds. That's 52 kilos, I think, 53 kilos. And you see on screen it's for the Muay Thai World Championship. So if I'm not mistaken, this fight is for a title. It's actually the opening bout of the main card, not been a co-main event. They could have actually pushed this fight a little bit further up onto the main card. I'm not familiar with either of these two fighters, but the reason why I'm bringing it up is because it's going to be a title fight. So I think what's happening here is the One Championship is looking to create another division. We know they have strawweight Muay Thai now, so I think this might be strawweight Muay Thai or might even be atomweight Muay Thai for men. So this could be a start of a new division for the One Championship guys, which is very exciting. It's very very exciting. So I'm keen to look at this fight. I'm gonna have my eyes on this one in particular. So I'm just gonna ask you out there as the audience members that do watch Fighting with Friends, and you are familiar with some of these fighters. Please give us your thoughts in the comments about this one. Let us know who you think is going to be the champion at the end of this fight. I would love to know from you because I am not too familiar with it. So give me your thoughts please on that one. But the fight that I really do want to talk about is the fight that's the main event on the undercard. Kiamran Nabati, one of our fan favorites here at Fighting with Friends, taking on the all-exciting Ferrari Fairtex. This should also have been personally. I would have made this fight the co-main event, or the main event actually, and then have Yodlekpet and Jaosuayai as the co-main event, and then have the title fight that's above this one as the featured bout. But I'm sure the One Championship know what they're doing in terms of how they put the fight cards together. Um, Bantamweight Muay Thai, Ferrari's fantastic, tall, really good striker, power puncher. Also has got a very good body of work in the One Championship. And I said 27 years old. His record in the One Championship is 5 wins, 3 losses. All wins coming by unanimous decision. He lost to Dmitry Kovatin by unanimous decision in his last fight. I remember watching that fight actually, but unfortunately he lost that one. Before that, he was on a 4-fight winning streak with fighters like Antar Kasim, who is very, very good. Kirill Komutov as well, also a very, very good fighter. And he also fought against Fabio Reis. So like, he's been up there with some really good names and really good fighters. Kiamran Nabati though, since his injection into the One Championship, he's gone on a 4-fight winning streak, which is also the only 4 fights he has in the One Championship. 1 win by a KO. He beat Nong Ohama by unanimous decision in his last fight. Then knocking out Sua Black before that. 30 years old. I think he's going on a title run. Personally, I think he should have fought Nico Carrillo instead of Nabal Nane, but it's fine. I think one thing about Kiamran Nabati is that he's inevitable. And I think he's going to, not inevitable as in like you know what he's going to do next, but inevitable as in he's going to get that title. He's going to get it. I do believe he's going to get that title. He's beaten big names, Avatar, Pong Suri. He's taken out some really, really, really good names. So he's inevitable. He's undeniable. And I feel like he's got the good style and size for bantamweight division. Unlike Nico Carrillo, I think he's not weight bullying anybody. I think Kiamran Nabati is filling out perfectly fine. His height is really good. I think he might be a very good, might be the kind of person other than Superlick that can actually take on Nabil and deal with his awkwardness in terms of the height advantage. I think Kiamran Nabati would actually be able to stand, would be able to puzzle that. piece that puzzle together. So in this fight, I'm going to go with Kiamran Nabati. I do think that Ferrari will make it a bit competitive in the first round. I think keys to victory for Ferrari would be to kick the legs. Don't get into a boxing combination with him. I think try and boxing exchange. I think if Ferrari kicks the legs of Kiamran Nabati from the early start of the fight, not wait for it to happen later, I think he sets himself up for a very good chance to actually make the fight competitive and possibly winning it, maybe through by a unanimous decision. Whereas Kiamran Nabati, I think he's more skillful everywhere. I think his style is one of the styles that Thai fighters struggle with because he's striking from all angles. He's moving all the time. He's throwing spinning kicks, spinning heel kicks. He's throwing really good switch kicks, roundhouse kicks, the washigiri kicks. He's doing all of it. He's deeping, he's boxing, he throws punches off the tips or on the same time. He's very, very, very awkward but creative in the way that he fights. I'm a big fan of Kiamran Nabati for that because it's a style that Thai fighters have yet to have figured out. But in this fight against Nongo Hama, if you watch that fight very carefully, you will notice that what Nongo did after round one was that he attacked the legs of Kiamran a lot. And Kiamran was having difficulty to battle that leg kicks. He wasn't checking him as often, and you could see it was slowing him down once they got to round three. But then in round three, I think Kiamran Nabati dug really deep and was navigating those leg kicks a little bit better. And then he's landing his boxing and used his reach, used his jabs, and fought through a fantastic third round and got himself a very good unanimous decision. So I think Kiamran Nabati is probably gonna win this fight by unanimous decision as well. I'll be very grateful if he can knock out Ferrari because he can get himself another key KO finish and then increasing that finishing rate of his. He only has one in the one championship right now, so I think if he can get that job done via a finish, it will definitely put him into that number 2 spot to fight against the winner between Abdul Anan and Superlek. As for Ferrari, if he gets a job done here, it will catapult him into the top 5 for sure. But it's going to be a tough order. Personally, I think Kiamran Nabati is going to win. I think he's going to be more polished. He's going to be hungry for the fight because he almost felt a little bit hard done by. He didn't get the fight against Nico. So for that, I think Kiamran's going to go in here and put on a fantastic show for the fans and just stamp his name into that title contention once again. Let me know, ladies and gentlemen, what you have for this one. Obviously, you know that a little bit biased, but also I'm trying to be as realistic as possible. And I do think that Kiamran Nabati's skill set, you beat in Nong Ho, then you have to be considered as one of the best of the best. I don't know if Ferrari can beat Nong Hama, to be quite honest. So let's see how that goes. Then I'm gonna go on about some of the other fights in this fight on this fight card. Not too much detail. The fight that's been taking place before that, Mustafa Al Kriti taking on Eduardo Saik. This is going to be a very good fight as well. Stand-up Muay Thai, lightweight Muay Thai, excuse me. I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, ladies and gentlemen, in the comments. Mustafa Al Kriti, is he the brother of the other Kriti guy that fought last week? Mustafa, what is his name? He fought last week and his leg got broke when he fought against Masaki Noiri. So let's see. This is some family things going on here. Let's see if we can get one back. If they are related, if they're not, okay. But I remember watching Edward Saik, and I think he's actually really good. He's very creative as well. Oh, Muay Thai practitioner. So this fight's going to be hella creative. Again, lightweight Muay Thai. I feel like it should have been up on the higher on the card, but yeah, I got my eyes on this one, and I'm gonna go with Edward. I think he impressed me in his last fight, and I thought that he looked super jacked, super creative, and big fan of the style. So let's see how this fight plays out. Give me your thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna have to go with Mother Rasha on that one. And then the last thing I'm gonna talk about is this fight here between Moa Carlson taking on Kana Morimoto. Kana Morimoto is kickboxing royalty out of Japan. And Mo Carlson, she's been around in the One Championship. She's fought some very good names as well. So this fight's going to be quite entertaining between these two ladies. Nong Fa Sai was the last fight that Moa Carlson fought, and she lost that fight by unanimous decision. But she fought very good. She made it very competitive. Whereas for Kana Morimoto, she took on Anissa Mixon in her last fight. That was late in December last 2024. And wasn't that competitive, to be quite honest. I think Anissa Mixon was just piecing her up for the majority of the fight. But I think what Kana Morimoto has is very good conditioning, and it's hard to put her away. So she might rely on that in this fight as well. Make it as competitive as she can. I'm gonna tip it towards Moa Carlson. I think if she can stay piecing up Anna and stay out of range, don't really take too much damage, I think she wins the fight by unanimous decision. Because Kana, she has this tendency to just kind of bulldoze, but the technique isn't the greatest. It bulldozes you and then just makes it a dog fight. But if you're piecing it up with good technique and staying out of range with good footwork, can't get close to you, which is what Mr. Mixon kind of exposed on their fight. Then the fight that's also going to be quite interesting that I'm keen to watch is Robson de Oliveira taking on Kohi Wakabayashi in the strawweight MMA, and this is also going to be quite. Why I'm saying it's interesting is because I want to watch this dude a bit more. Robson de Oliveira he goes by the Monkey King in the division, but the current interim champion is the Monkey God in what's his name? Let me just pull this up. Not that. Jared Brooks. That's I think he's the guy that's probably still going to be the champion in this division. I think he's going to beat Joshua Pacquiao. And then we're going to see Robson climb the ranks and see if he can go through people like Jimmy Manoa or Jimmy Manoa. What's his name? Pull up this rankings here quickly. Iroba Manoa. There we go. Yeah, exactly. If he can, number one is vacant. So Mansu is really good. So I think if Kaito Yamakita as well is a good name. So if he wins this fight, this next fight, then I definitely think that Oliveira can pull out someone in that top 5 division if he wins his next fight. Anyway, that's all the time I have, ladies and gentlemen. The rest of the card is unfamiliar territory for me in terms of the fighters. But you can catch One Friday Fights that's going to be live this Friday at 2:30 South African time, 31st of January, on the One Championship YouTube page. Fantastic fight card. I can't wait for it. If you've made it this far, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. You will definitely catch myself and the rest of the panel when we do our recap of the One Friday Fights card on Saturday morning. And then also you can stay tuned for when we're doing another live coming up this Saturday for UFC's fight card between Israel Adesanya and Nasruddin Imavov. Right, ladies and gentlemen, on that note, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit us up in the comments about this fight card. Let us know who you have winning, who's going to be a really good performer. If you have any links to betting sites where we can bet on One Championship fights, please let us know in the comments. Drop a link to anything. Just give us a way to find it because we're starting to find it out here in South Africa. But on that note, I will catch you guys on the next one. Have a fantastic week. Cheers.